The Ratel, the first wheeled armored infantry fighting vehicle, has an impressive career. It is one of the many legendary South African weapon systems designed according to the real combat experiences, not only conceptual studies. What was behind the creation of the Ratel? What were the advantages and disadvantages of this vehicle? Today, we are investigating the Ratel, the fearless predator of the savannas. The Ratel may look like an improvised armored bus, unlike other modern wheeled armored infantry fighting vehicles. But the appearances may be deceptive. It was carefully designed for the job. The Ratel, also known as the honey badger, is a natural predator thanks to its thick skin, strength, and ferocious defensive abilities. It can indefatigably travel 10 to 27 kilometers daily to find its prey. This small animal may even repel much larger predators such as lions and hyenas. What better name than Ratel for this robust and reliable vehicle that can travel long distances to hunt its enemies and successfully fight its upgunned and up-armored Soviet-made counterparts. Before we continue, we would like to thank Dr. Dieval Finter, who allowed us to use some information from his book, South African Armored Fighting Vehicles, A History of Innovation and Excellence, and his article on the Tank Encyclopedia website. In the 1960s, South Africa was dealing with a strict arms embargo due to apartheid policy, even though it was fighting against the communist liberation movements in the Southwest Africa and Angola. At that time, the South African Defense Force, shortly SADF, had the 6x6 Alvis Saracen, which was just a battle taxi. But the SADF had already embraced mobile warfare to fight against both guerrilla and regular army forces. It urgently needed an armored infantry fighting vehicle which would be highly maneuverable, reliable, and easily maintainable. So the South African decided to acquire a wheeled system which also had a low unit and life cycle cost, beside being more reliable and maintainable than a tracked one. The design work on the new 6x6 wheeled system began in 1968. In 1972, the local Springfield Busing Company offered its vehicle called Buffalo. It was built on a modified MAN truck chassis. While its trials continued, the SADF also tested the UR416, VXP170, Panhard M3, and EE11 Urutu. Even though none of these vehicles could meet the SADF's criteria, the South African engineers was impressed with the driver compartment arrangement of the VXP170. So, this design was applied to the Buffalo, and the new variant was now called the Ratel. In 1974, Sandock Austral undertook the production and completed the first prototype. The first 4 pre-production Ratels were also delivered for trials within 2 years. The early production model Ratel Mark I became operational in 1976. Based on the users' feedback from the operational use of these vehicles, the South African engineers decided to implement some improvements. The new production variant of Ratel, Mark II, which was introduced in 1976, had enhanced bush braking capability and a screen cover to prevent leaves from being sucked into the engine. Also, the large covers replaced the previous mesh wires on the headlights. The mechanical reliability of the Ratel Mark II was also improved. Most of the modifications were subsequently retrofitted to the earlier Mark I's when they returned for overhaul. The Ratel Mark III variant, introduced in 1985, had an improved cooling system, additional fuel filters, a digital acceleration meter, and better bush braking capability. The all-welded steel hull is resistant against 12.7mm ammunition over the frontal arc and 7.62mm over the sides. Even though it is not V-shaped, the hull provides a high level of protection against landmines. There is a circular mount for an anti-aircraft machine gun at the right rear. The driver sits at the front and has 270-degree forward visibility through 3 bulletproof windows to the front and sides. During the action, armored shutters activated by the driver cover the windows. Then the driver continues his job via 3 day periscopes. 2 doors opened pneumatically by the driver are on the sides between the first and second axles, while the third one is at the rear. The power pack at the rear left can be removed from the vehicle by 2 men with a crane in less than 30 minutes. There are 4 firing ports with bulletproof vision blocks on both sides, which allows the infantry to engage the enemy under armor protection. They are also used in ventilation to help improve the comfort of the crew and infantry compartment working under hot weather conditions. The Ratel has an operational range of 1000 km for road and 600 km off-road. As designed for long-range operations, the standard equipment of the vehicle includes a complete set of tools, spades, picks, shovels and axes, a tow bar and towing cables, a first kit aid, 2 petrol stoves, fire extinguishers, emergency spares, 2 50-liter drinking water tanks, 2 external stowage boxes, radios, an intercom, and remote control handset with 1000 meters of cable. The infantry fighting vehicle variant, the Ratel 20, carries 8 infantry but can accommodate an additional 3 soldiers when required. 1 infantry also acts as the rear anti-aircraft gunner. The section leader is also the vehicle commander and sits in the 2-person turret. The gunner is also positioned inside the turret. The 20mm GI2 autocannon, the licensed production variant of the French F2, has an elevation of plus 38 degrees and a depression of minus 8 degrees, so it can be effective against low-flying targets. The GI2 is the first autocannon with dual feeding system. The 20mm armor-piercing projectiles fired from the GI2 have an effective range of 1000 meters and the high explosive one's effective range is 2000 meters. The Ratel 20 carries 1220mm round. The 20mm guns of the Zambian Ratel 20s have been removed. Some Jordanian Ratel 20s have the 329 horsepower Cummins QSM 11 C330 diesel engine and the BAU-23 turret carrying a twin-barrel 23mm autocannon. The Ratels of the Rwanda Defense Force also have this turret. In the early combat operations, Elan 90s accompanied the Ratel 20s. But the 4x4 Elan 90s lacked sufficient mobility to keep pace with the 6x6 Ratels. Also, operating these vehicles together, one with diesel and one with petrol engines, caused some logistical problems. Thus, the Ratel was fitted with the Elan 90 turret to solve this problem. But the new variant, the Ratel 90, has the improved 90mm GT2 semi-auto rifled quick-firing gun. In this version, the vehicle commander sits inside the turret and the section commander sits near the left door. The number of infantry of the Ratel 90 is reduced to 7 to open more space for the 90mm ammunition. The GT2 has an elevation of plus 15 degrees and a depression of minus 8 degrees. The 90mm high explosive anti-tank projectiles have an effective range of 1200 meters and the high explosive one's effective range is 2200 meters. The Ratel 90 carries 71 90mm rounds and its combat weight is 19 tons. The Ratel 60 variant has a 60mm breech-loaded M2 mortar with an effective range of 300 meters in the direct roll and 1500 meters in the indirect roll. It carries 51 mortar rounds. But the actual mortar carrier variant of the vehicle is the Ratel 81. Its 81mm mortar mounted on a turnable with a 360-degree traverse has a maximum range of 7,265 meters and a rate of fire of 20 rounds per minute. The Ratel 81 has only one firing port on each side. There are 80 81mm mortar rounds in the vehicle. The variant with the 120mm mortar never passed the prototype stage. During the operations in Angola and Southwest Africa, using the Ratel 90 for the anti-tank role, which was intended to be a fire support vehicle, caused some complications. So, the anti-tank missile carrier variant of the vehicle, the Ratel ZT3, was introduced to overcome this problem. It can fire 2 semi-automatic laser-guided ZT3 SWEFs in 1 minute. The missile has an effective range of 4000 meters and can penetrate 650mm armor. Armor penetration capability of the B variants is 1000 millimeters. The Ratel ZT3's turret, a modified variant of the Ratel 60's turret, has 3 launchers and one 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. It carries 12 additional missiles inside. The reloading is carried out manually. The Ratel command variant is fitted with a 12.7mm machine gun instead of a 20 or 76mm gun to open more space for the command staff. It has an air conditioning system to prevent the additional communications equipment from overheating. The Ratel armored repair vehicle has a fixed lifting jib with 4 tubular steel posts mounted on the rear hull. Since we cannot find any visual of this variant, we think it probably never passed the prototype stage. South Africa terminated the Ratel version with the enhanced artillery observation system because of its high cost. The 8x8 Ratel logistic support vehicle never passed the prototype stage. For trial purposes, one Ratel was fitted with the LCT-35 turret. The iKlwa armored personnel carrier, developed for foreign markets, was a further development of the Ratel, but it has not been chosen by any country. We should add that the Belgian company Bien Construction Ferroviaire et Métallique bought the design rights of the Ratel and developed the SIBMAS. The Malaysian army is the only user of this vehicle. Cameroon, the Central African Republic, Djibouti, Ghana, Jordan, Morocco, Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, and Zambia are the current users of the Ratel. Also, the fighting sides in Libya and Yemen use this vehicle. The Ratel 20 has a 3-person crew consisting of a commander, gunner, and driver, and can also carry 8 infantry. The vehicle has a length of 7.21 meters, a width of 2.51 meters, and a height of 2.92 meters. Its combat weight is up to 17,500 kilograms. The 282 horsepower Busing D3256 BT-XF turbocharged diesel engine provides a road speed of 105 km per hour. Its range is 1,000 km. The Ratel 20 can negotiate 0.6 meter vertical steps and 1.15 meter trenches, and it can fort a depth of 1.2 meters. The vehicle has one 20mm GI2 autocannon and 3 7.62mm machine guns, one coaxial, one on the top of the turret, and one at the rear. The Ratel was designed according to the SIDS mobile tactics based on avoiding frontal attacks on well-prepared defended positions and conducting surprise flanking attacks by confusing the enemy with continuous maneuvering. The battalion-sized columns formed around the Ratels and contained the Buffles and Elans were deployed near the border to conduct deep raids into Angola against SWAPO training and logistic camps. The SIDS Ratel battle group tactics did not contain occupying and holding static positions. During the South African border war, the vehicle repeatedly proved its protection level against landmines. The only fatal mine detonation incident involving the Ratel was during the 1982 Operation Miabos. During the 1982 Operation Modulaire, one Ratel 20 managed to destroy an Angolan T-55 by lucky shots of 20mm armor-piercing rounds, which penetrated the weakest side of the tank armor and ignited the onboard ammunition. Although the Ratel 90 was not designed as a tank destroyer, it knocked out many Soviet-built tanks. Even though the 90mm GT2 gun did not have enough power to penetrate the frontal armors of the T-54, T-55 and T-62s, the skillful Ratel 90 crew managed to outmaneuver their enemies and attack these tanks from their weakest parts. Yet, the 6x6 Ratel had a low trench cross capability. When the vehicle was stuck in a hole or trench, and there were plenty of them around the SWAPO camps, it became a sitting duck and easy prey for the 23mm ZU-23-2 guns deployed in large numbers around these facilities. Still, the SADF commanders of the South African border war have defined the Ratel as the most prized armored vehicle. The Moroccans have also used the Ratel successfully against the Polisario front in Western Sahara. The Ratels are still fighting in Cameroon, Libya, Mozambique, and Yemen. South Africa has decided to replace the Ratel with the Badger, a variant of the Patria AMV. However, in 2020, Danel, which will produce the Badger locally, declared that its financial and technical capabilities were inadequate for this project, which may cause its bankruptcy. And 2 years later, Arms Corps advised that the South African National Defence Force should terminate the program and focus on upgrading the existing Ratel fleet. Yet, we should admit that this highly prized Predator is now nearly 50 years old and tired. Yes, it still has the potential to add new pages to its saga, but just in low-intensity conflicts. Nevertheless, the Ratel undoubtedly deserves to be remembered as an unforgettable legend. Thanks for watching our video, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of our new videos. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. And as always, we would greatly appreciate all of your likes, comments, and shares.